Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the sequel to Gnomeo and Juliet, Sherlock Gnomes.
In this sequel, Gnomeo and Juliet recruit renowned detective Sherlock Gnomes,
That we just heard about now.
not to be confused with Holmes, to investigate the mysterious disappearance of other garden ornaments by beloved baking mascot Moriarity.
But before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Yes. Now, hopefully you're like us and you did see Gnomeo and Juliet, which is fantastically wonderful and fun and entertaining and had a great voice acting class, including...
Now, remember, some of these people from the original movie did return.
Right.
So you had some of the original cast, like for...
James McAvoy.
Right. And Michael Caine. And quite a few other people. But there was like one character I know from the first movie they were missing. I think it was like a flamingo. And it never showed up in the second movie. I'm not sure why. But regardless, still, the remaining characters from the first movie, all the voice actors returned. And then you also had some new characters as well. And of course you had the new additions like with Sherlock Gnomes and Watson, Moriarty. So now they're expanding this,
And
I guess.
Go Edger for as Dr. Watson.
Right, and Johnny Depp as Sherlock Gnomes.
Yes.
Couldn't believe that.
Well, you know, he's also done, in live action, he did From Hell, where he played a detective who was searching for Jack the Ripper. He's also done... The Headless Horseman. It was called Sleepy Hollow. So he's actually done English voice acting before. He also played Barry, the man who wrote Peter Pan. So he's successfully done English accents before. And in this one, the only difference was there was hilarity in it. And he was a little OCD and crazy in this one. But he did it fantastically. And Emily Blunt, of course, came back as well.
Right.
As Juliet.
Right, and then you actually got one of the names on the spot when they had a character, and you said, Mary J. Blige, and it was her.
Yes! Yes! Her little character was cute.
I couldn't believe
She
like,
had
what?
attitude.
Right.
And as Lily Cat says, she threw shade all the time.
Right. And for this one, they had to go in a different direction, which they kind of tell you immediately before you watch the movie, because you know how people are in terms of, well, this isn't like the first one and stuff. They made it clear, hey, this is going to have the Gnomeo and Juliet characters, but it's a different movie altogether.
Right.
And they said, let's do that. What story should we do? Let's do Romeo and Juliet. We did that already. Let's do Sherlock Holmes. Like, it's going to be like the other one. No, it's going to be a little different. So, yeah.
It's a different story, right?
Right. And they had to be different because you're dealing with a whole different character, a whole different parody. And it looks like for majority of the film, when you see where it takes place and stuff, because it looks like the people that own the lawn gnome ornaments moved to London. And for here, it looks like the person who did this is a really heavy Sherlock fan, whether it be the character or the different adaptations or the books or something, because all these sorts of bits and pieces referencing different versions of Sherlock all put into one.
Yes, definitely. And it was fun. It was really a lot of fun to watch. And they actually had a couple twists and turns that did surprise and some that didn't. But overall, this is a fantastic movie, especially, as we mentioned, if you are a fan of the first one like we are. And I'm looking forward to another one being made. I hope they get brave enough and the studio goes ahead and makes another parody or gnome version of another well-known story.
Right. I expand this gnome cinematic universe.
Yes.
And we like that they had all these little creative ideas because, for Gnomeo and Juliet, the whole thing was that they're gnomes and they had to pretty much keep everything to the yard. Well, in here, they got to expand beyond that since they were in the city instead of a little town. And they had these, of course, parallels to how the mystery cases work for like the Sherlock movies, the books, the BBC series, even like something like the Great Mouse Detective and stuff got referenced in here, and how they reference to like the Hound, and they reference to the woman at the bar who always seems to know everybody, and how they reference they go to these different places where they need information on Moriarty and they somehow always know. Like they went to this sort of lawn ornament black market thing, and they had all these different knickknacks and stuff from across the world. So that was their version of the market, and they had
it also reminded us of the troll market,
right. So they had that, and so they were really getting creative with these different things you see every day and giving them their own world, almost like Toy Story.
They also had the addition of some gargoyles.
Yes.
Which was a nice treat in the way that they were depicted and portrayed and drawn. And it was different from how you normally see them. They weren't overly, scary and brooding like they are. And they fit right in the way that they were depicted and drawn. It worked perfectly. And we won't spoil as to how if you haven't seen the movie.
Right.
And they also had Ozzy Osbourne doing one of the voices, I think, of the gargoyle. No, he was Fawn.
Yeah, little deer. Yes.
Ozzy Osbourne was the deer.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, like I said, that's the same from the first movie. And also, like, in here, they had this own world for Sherlock Holmes. And this is a type of storyline they kind of do for Sherlock anyway. And just about every other adaptation we see, there's a sort of thing they have of Watson and Holmes that Watson isn't treated like his equal or partner, more like he's just there to support him, and his ego can't fit in with the team, and that kind of shows up again in here. And it's always been there in some version of Sherlock. There's always some sort of thing like he's not as important as Sherlock when they're both important to the story. And they kind of do play with that with going on with the mystery of who's taking all of the law gnomes. And then you have Moriarty, who's completely different from any version you see. While he's still a threat, he's way more comedic in here in his spastic personality, and he just hates law gnomes for like no reason. He just hates them, and he wants to break them all because I guess maybe they drive attention away from him, and he's just this wacko Looney Tune character that just has these outlandish schemes like a supervillain, and it's really hilarious how they play with that, because in other versions we've seen he's taken more seriously, where he's more calculative, intelligent, a threat. He's a threat here, he's just a whack job.
Yes, so it's fun in addition to having the mystery going on. And also you see the development of Gnomeo and Juliet's relationship, because before they were just two star-crossed gnomes that you wanted to get together, whom the families wanted to keep apart. And in this one now they're finally together, and it looks like their families are accepting of each other, and there's a different dynamic between the families, but Gnomeo and Juliet aren't they don't have the same lovey-dovey relationship they had in the first.
Yeah,
so you're getting to see the challenge they have of staying together as a couple.
Right. Because usually we see those types of movies, like, after they get together, that's it. But now you gotta continue. Well, in a TV series, you can't break up the next episode. It's Romeo and Juliet, so you can't break up the next movie. So you gotta figure out how to keep that going.
Which they did very well in here, and you see the challenge and how the challenge was resolved and how they grew and learned as gnomes. And there is a happy conclusion, as there should be. I mean, this is a fun movie. This is a fun series. And there's a happy ending.
Right.
So we know most of you have probably seen Gnomeo and Juliet. At least we hope you have. And if you haven't, we recommend that you do watch it. It was actually available on demand, which is how we got to see it, with so many things being available now during the events that are happening. Lots of the paid parts of cable and dish, such as Showtime and HBO and Epix and all these movie channels, are making so many movies available for free. So this is the time that if you hopefully you've had an opportunity by the time you hear this that you took advantage of being able to see so many for free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we saw Gnomeo and Juliet, and we're very grateful that we did get to see it because we really wanted to see it.
Right.
So, as I was saying, if you've seen Gnomeo and Juliet and you decide to watch Sherlock Gnomes as well, let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't, we recommend you do watch it. Try to get it free and on demand, or I'm sure it's available probably on Amazon. They're definitely not on Netflix at this time.
Right. Now, we do want to say really quickly, we do know that movies like this and Gnomeo and Juliet do tend to have sort of a mini backlash for, like, oh, why is the first movie so great? Why is the sequel so bad? And, not every movie can be Shrek 2, where it's just beyond perfect from the first one and you love it so much. Sherlock Gnomes is great in its own way. We don't expect it to be, like, the greatest movie ever. It's something really enjoyable. And, yes, it's different from the first movie, but I don't think it's fair that it's considered one of the worst movies of 2018. Because it's supposed to be different from the other movie, and giving it a fair chance is more fair than, bashing the movie before you even see it just because they made a sequel to a movie you didn't think was even going to get a sequel. Because for me, I think that them doing this actually proved, even if something doesn't even need a sequel, you can make a great story out of it anyway.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with what I'm hearing as far as this is what the critics were saying. I think this movie was just as well done as the first one. It's a different story. I don't expect it to be the same as the other, but in terms of quality, voice acting, production, animation, delivery, those wonderful wisecracks and the sarcastic humor, and the, I would have to say, unique characters, because it's being done differently. This movie, to me, is on par with the first.
Right.
I think why some people may feel that way is because Gnomeo and Juliet was something entirely different we've never seen. But guess what? Sherlock Gnomes is also something entirely different that we haven't seen. And they've done a fantastic job. So I didn't know that was the case, but I totally disagree that this is definitely not a worse movie. It's a fantastic movie. And if you invest the time in watching it, you will be pleasantly surprised. You will laugh your head off. You will enjoy it, and you will be waiting for number 3 as we are.
Right. And I brought it up since you don't hear about the movie at all. We heard about it when it was coming out, and then it disappeared. So I thought I just kind of want to give a little bit of extra bit to it that definitely give the movie a chance. So with that, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future Paws podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Including if there's another Gnomeo and Juliet movie.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mascot Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights. Trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you want to do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky.